Good morning. This is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Wednesday, the 26th of February. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing, learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. Right. We've had buy signals for a couple of days now, and they're really building up. This is the 60-minute buy signal on ES. We've finally got the last holdout NQ, which is fixed overnight. We've got the one on RTY, and we've got the one on YM, which is getting close to the possible near miss target now. This is a lot of positive divergence. Normally, I have to say, with this amount of positive divergence, we'd already have had a rally. But we haven't had that here. This has been very weak this week, and I have to say I'm not that surprised. I think a decline here has legs, and even if we see a strong rally here and go back and retest the highs, I suspect it'll be coming back down afterwards. We will see. I think we've got some business to do on the downside, and it's only going to wait so long. DAX and ESTX. DAX, the head and shoulders has failed, and it's rejecting back up to the high. ESTX, that's failed, and it's rejecting back up to the high. Neither of those cases is a long trap. Have we got any bottoming setups here? We've got part formed IHS here, early stages on NQ. Nothing really so far. RTY, potential double bottom or part formed IHS. YM, a nice looking IHS which is trying to break up but failing at the weekly pivot so far. I think we've got a decent chance for a rally here. Now, one thing I was mentioning, one thing I've mentioned repeatedly over the last few days, is that obviously the stats for this week are bearish. On Friday, they are particularly bearish, and I think it's something like 23% or something, green closes. And then Monday, I think we've got a bullish looking day. Let me just check that. But I think we were talking about 65% or something. So let's have a look. Yeah, it's 28.6% green closes on Friday, leaning more or less neutral today, and on Monday it's 61% bullish, and Wednesday and leans bearish on Tuesday. So it's pretty neutral basically for all of next week. We will see how that goes, but I think it may be that we're not going to see the rally start for the next day or two. I've got to say, at this stage, where I'm seeing a whole load of things suggesting that we'd normally see a rally starting now, but that won't necessarily deliver. Let's go through some of those. All right, the first one I want to have a look at is on SPX. Okay, so bear with me a moment. All right. SPX touched the 3SD lower band yesterday. That, I've got to say, tends to be a pretty damn good way of working out whether you're about to have a rally. We had the 3SD lower band was at 6059 yesterday, and the low was 3SD lower band was at 5912, and the low was at 5908. So we went below the 3SD lower band. That tends to be a pretty strong indicator that we're about to see a rally. It's something I've talked about several times before, and I'm thinking that would lean us towards a rally. If we have a look at the weekly chart here, we are testing the weekly middle band. I'm holding it just about so far, but again, this is a very important support level, very important indeed. So looking at in NDX, again, we are testing the weekly middle band, and you can see, historically, this is a pretty good level as well. So looking at the hourly charts, we've got an hourly RSI 5 buy signal brewing here on SPX. On the Qs, possible RSI 5 buy signal brewing again. Dire, we've got an weak RSI 14 buy signal fixed, and on IWM, we've got an RSI 14 buy signal fix and an RSI 5 buy signal fix. There is a lot of positive divergence here. This is something I view as sort of potential energy for a rally. And generally speaking, as I said, usually a rally would have started yesterday. There's even more of a compelling case today. I don't know if we'll see it. I think this has been a very weak wake-up call for the bulls. But it's not that surprising, and I really don't think it's done. We could see a nice rally here. If we have a look at IWM, for instance, we've got, oh no, it was sorry, it was Dire I was looking at, so bear with me a moment. Here, we got a lovely trend line here, and it's a beauty. It is this support trend line here. This could be flag support. We could go back and retest the all-time high from here. And I wouldn't be astonished if we did, but I would be astonished if we then made confident higher highs from there. I think we are owed a significant amount of downside, and I think we're either starting it now or it's going to be starting soon. But I think everything is ripe for a retracement, and it's been very encouraging to see how it's gone this week as a start on that. If we see a rally and we're not going to see retest the highs, then it's pretty obvious where we would be looking for. I'd be looking for a back test of the daily middle band. I've got that now on SPX at 6059. 100 handle rally that would resolve all of our current positive divergence, and would be the obvious place to fail, because if we can convert the daily middle band into resistance, then that is a downtrend. Convert the weekly middle band into resistance, and we've got a decent downtrend that is well worth a look at. And I think that's probably where we're heading now. I don't know if we're going to convert that straight away, but if we don't, I think we're going to do it soon. All right, looking at ES. ES, again, touched the 3SD lower band. Again, this is something I've talked about a lot in the past, but a touch of the 3SD lower band tends to be an area where you are looking for a low or a rally, one or the other. And I think we could get either here. We could go back and retest the highs. I would say we've got this double top here that I've been talking about here is breaking down on SPX. So this potentially takes us down to, I think I gave the target about the 57.25 area yesterday. But I think that is a nice looking pattern. But of course, any pattern like this, a breakdown, you can see a rejection back up to the high. That is a possibility here. We will see. But I think, as I said, if we do go back and start retesting some all-time highs here, I don't think that's going to last. I think we've got more to do on the downside. I mean, part of that depends on the new administration and their policies and how serious they are about tariffs and how serious they are about these big tax cuts they want to deliver. Because I think these things are some things that could cause some significant economic trouble, potentially push the US into recession, certainly make interest rates go up a lot. And these are not good. These are not good things for bull markets. There's going to be a lot of uncertainty this year. We're already seeing a lot of it. I'm expecting to see, in all probability, a lot more. Because one thing this administration has not shown any sign of doing is turning around when it meets opposition. Trump's already said that people can expect some pain as he's making the changes he wants to make, and I think that's absolutely right. I think that pain will be reflected in the markets, so we shall see. All right, great. So let's have a look at right. Okay, that covers equities pretty much. The question is on equities. Just to summarise, it could be that we're going to wait until the end of the week before we see a rally, but we've got a sizable rally coming so far, or at least if we don't have a sizable rally coming, it will be a statement of a lot of weakness. Really touching the 3SD lower band, testing the weekly middle bands. These are key support levels, and I would expect to see a rally at them. We've got a boatload of hourly positive divergence. Normally, I would expect that to see it play out, and if we don't see it play out, then that is a sign of that this is actually very, very weak. And it's already been showing a lot of weakness so far. I would lean towards seeing a rally here. The odds would favour it. All right, let's have a look at DX. DX, we've still got a nice looking possible bull flag wedge here. Now, what's the impact going to be on dollar? Hard to say, but I think I'm just looking at the case for a retest of 110 here, and really that case isn't bad. Looking at ZB, ZB has gone higher here. I want to have a look at TNX here quickly. Now, TNX, on the bigger picture, we had a flag here. We broke up. The target's 49.97, and we haven't made it yet. This looks like a bull flag for me. What kind of bull flag? Well, I've got two options here. We've got a channel, in which case I think we hit support yesterday, or we got a megaphone, in which case we go a little lower and touch support there. Either of those is a pretty good candidate for a bull flag. We've still got an open target back up at 49.97. I'm expecting to go and get that. And I think the more that we have talk of tariffs and so on and so forth, the more likely that is to happen, because tariffs will likely put up inflation. And inflation going up is likely to put up interest rates and the bond market's perception of the risk in the government bonds. Big tax cuts will also increase that perception of risk. And at the moment, all these things seem to be intended. I don't know how many of them will go through, but so far, lots of the people who said, "Oh, well, he doesn't really mean it," have been wrong. So my working assumption is he's going to have at least a decent shot at it. If that's the case, then that 49.97 is looking pretty good. And on the bigger picture, that could just be a way station. When we get back to that retest, we've got an inflection point. We've then got retested this high here at 53.16. If we can get over that, I think, well, I've got an IHS here, which has got a target in the 8.1 area. I think, depending on how things shake out, that is a potentially doable target. And that is, as you can see, it's an almost exact 50% retracement of this huge decline in bond yields, basically of the bull market in bonds from 1982 to 2020. So it's a very obvious technical target. Does that mean it needs to be made? No. Does that make it more likely to get made? No, but it really is an obvious target. And it's an obvious setup. And the logic of what is happening this year fits pretty well with it. We will see. All right, CL. I've got a falling channel here. Now, it doesn't mean it's the next obvious target within the channel would be channel support. I've got that currently at about the 67.4 area. I like it. I'm thinking we may well be heading there next. NG, bigger picture, we've broken up with a target over 6. How are we doing on doing that? Well, pretty well so far. This looks like a bull flag forming, and at the moment, I'm not seeing anything compelling to say this is about to decline. I'm still liking that target towards 6 until we see something which suggests that we aren't going to make that. That is the current target. GC, we got a potential level top here. We could be about to retrace. We have got quite a lot of embedded negative divergence on the metals, although I'll be coming to copper in a minute, but let's do silver first. We could be forming a head and shoulders here. HG, we had a head and shoulders. It broke down and it's failed. Now, I have to say, we've had a few of these lately where we've had an unbalanced shoulders, head and shoulders, which has broken down and then failed and then not made the target at the retest of the prior high. Nonetheless, that would be the obvious target, but we're not forming an alternate pattern here. Normally, I would expect to see that retest. Maybe we won't see it here. I have seen a couple of these not deliver in recent weeks, but normally I would expect them to deliver like the others. Looking at the euro, nice looking double top here. If we are going to see a rally on DX, then we've got the setup here nicely on the euro already. Looking at KC, KC, this is no longer a bull flag from the high, but this is still a falling wedge from this level here, and it's a nice one. We're breaking up slightly from it here. I'm looking for at least a rally. We could see a retest of these highs, but we've no longer got an obvious bull flag setup. SB, we've got a 60-minute sell signal fixed. We've got a potential little level top here. I still like the target up here in about the 2030 area, and I'm thinking we may make that sooner rather than later. CC fell out of my the obvious bull flag setup, so I'm keeping an open mind on this. Could this still be a bullish consolidation? Yes. Is it as nice of a bullish consolidation as it was? No, it's not. So we'll see how that goes, but I'm keeping a more open mind on it now and not thinking we're necessarily setting up for a retest of this high here. Looking at ZW, nice looking retracement here, and this looks like a bull flag forming. We've still got a valid double bottom target here, but that has already been made. Keeping it, I think it was an IHS, and I drew it. No, I've got the version drawn on here. Yeah, we've got an IHS, it's made the target. This looks like a bull flag, and I'm leaning towards that breaking up and at least retesting this high. Corn, we've seen a nice decline. I was saying that on the grains we might well see some declines. That's a nice move down. No current positive divergence. May well see a rally. Soy, we've still got this double bottom that's broken down, but it's showing absolutely no sign of making target. We've also got, a double top that broke down. We've also got another potential double bottom here. I think this might break up towards a retest of this high. Looking at CT, we've still got a very nice bear flag channel which broke down. That's still got a target at a retest of this low here in the 66.2 area. On lumber, I was suggesting in the absence of any decent pattern setup, the obvious next thing to do is go back and retest this high. We have done that. We've got a bit of negative divergence here, but at the moment I don't have a good feel for what's happening here at lumber. Live cattle, nice looking falling wedge. This could be a bull flag, and it could be breaking up towards a retest of the high. So far, pretty low, pretty slow off the low though. HE is potentially bottoming out. We got a possible 60-minute buy signal. We shall see. All right, let's have a look at the questions. Right, let's have a look at platinum palladium. Give me a minute. All right, first thing to say is that it's weakened somewhat by what's happened on copper. But we do have a potential retracement with some nice looking sell signals on these. So we will, on the metals, not all of them, and maybe it won't deliver, but it's certainly something to be borne in mind. On palladium, I'm leaning towards, at this stage, we've got an IHS that has failed. I'm really leaning towards seeing a retest of this low here at 896. That might well be the second low of a double bottom. In terms of divergence, we could set up with a bit of a rally and then retest the low. We could set up a possible RSI 5 buy signal on the daily. If we get one of those, they've been pretty reliable. Platinum. We had the opportunity to get a possible RSI 5 buy signal brewing, and we didn't take it. We've seen a bit of a decline here. We've got a double top here. I haven't marked in the arrows where I think the minimum target would be down at 940. It wouldn't surprise me at all for it to go down there. But what I would say is, this is an IHS. It's broken up. I've marked in the targets. The right shoulder low is at 93850. That needs to hold. If that fails, then we'll probably see a retest of 90740. But as long as that holds, that upside target for palladium is valid. We shall see. All right, great. In that case, I think it's a wrap. Watch out for a post. I'll be planning to have one out in a couple of hours, but basically I'm just talking about the same stuff I've been talking about. I'm talking about the weekly middle bands, talking about the 3SD lower band touch on SPX, and I'm talking about the large amounts of positive divergence that we've got here and how weak it would look if it doesn't deliver a rally in the next couple of days. The other thing I'm going to be mentioning is, of course, that we've got this very bearish tape on Friday. Historically, that doesn't necessarily need to deliver, and obviously we've seen a lot of downside already, but it may be that any meaningful rally is going to wait until we've got past that. We shall see. All right, great. Cheers, guys. Catch you tomorrow.